I don't wanna know if you're better off without me. I don't wanna know if you're better off. I'll be there for you. I'm never gonna give you up. I'll be there for you. I'm never gonna give you up.
Get loud for me. Get loud for me. Get loud for me. Hands in the crowd, we tearing it down. Heart of a lion, fire inside me blaze like a siren. Why would you try it? Wake up the beast, no I can't keep silent. I put my time in, now it's my time, your time is expiring. Blood, sweat and tears, I conquer my fears, I'm ready to fly now. Get loud for me. Get loud for me. Get loud for me. Hands in the crowd, we tearing it down. Get loud for me. Blood, sweat and tears, I conquer my fears, I'm ready to fly now. I put my time in, now it's my time, your time is expiring. Blood, sweat and tears, I conquer my fears, I'm ready to fly now. Get loud for me. Get loud for me. Get loud for me. Hands in the crowd, we tearing it down. Get loud for me. I am the
In the year 2000, leaders
Humankind faces many challenges to
We are world leaders. This is an emergency. We are activists from across the world writing as one to demand your immediate action. 5 years ago, 193 countries committed to the global goals, a historic plan to end extreme poverty, conquer inequality, and fix the climate crisis. Look at our world now. Our climate is heating up. Natural disasters are increasing. Millions flee their homes. Children suffer without vital food and healthcare. Activists are murdered for their views. Girls and women are refused an education and subjected to discrimination and violence. But we still dare to hope that in 2020, you will act decisively. We are watching you, and we will fight every day for people, for planet. There are millions of us with one voice and one question. How will you keep your promise?
The data revolution is driving innovative ways to use real-world data for better insights and actions towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. At the World Bank, the revolution is well underway. Hundreds of projects are using big data tools and technologies to help governments reimagine solutions to strengthen policy and improve service delivery. We are supporting Haiti to use insights from mobile phone records to better connect urban residents to jobs, services, and economic opportunities. We are supporting the Philippines to work with local governments to use GPS location data from taxis to reduce traffic congestion and improve key services like emergency response. We are supporting India, and soon globally, to use nighttime satellite imagery to monitor and ensure the electrification of rural areas. We are supporting Uganda by working with the National Statistical Office to use satellite data for reliable and real-time insights. This is helping improve crop productivity of smallholder farmers. We are partnering with South Korea to help over 20 countries learn from South Korea's experience in using big data. Through interactive workshops, discussions, and study tours, participants have learned how to apply these lessons for better performance in sectors like health, transport, and agriculture. In each of these cases, robust data analysis was possible because we used both traditional sources of data and big data. The information that is buried in traditional data is quintessential to ground truth and gleaning.
He's ahead of the field, and Usain Bolt has stopped! Usain Bolt has stopped at the 50-meter line! Oh, that is a pity! 5. Apollo, you're on course. 226 hours to the moon orbit.
Okay, thanks, Houston. But I think we'll be heading back now.
Come again?
Yeah, it was kind of fun, but I think halfway will do. Job done.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
Hi, Mark.
Hello. Hi, good afternoon,
Hi.
everyone. Yeah. Is it okay?
Afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Before we
Good
start, can
afternoon,
we?
Mark.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. How's Saturday so far? I hope it's great. Yeah.
Saturday's good.
Yeah, Saturday's good. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, hi.
Good naman po.
Yeah. Welcome to a special Black Saturday for those who are Catholics. Black Saturday session for the online SDG Action Forum. Yeah, welcome. Uh, One reminder, can we turn off our mics because I think it's hearing back. It's been hearing in background. Okay, thank you so much. So welcome to the Saturday session of the online SDG Youth Action Forum. Actually, today is somehow special. I mean, aside from it's a holiday, which is a Black Saturday here in the Philippines. And majority of us are Catholics, especially here in the Philippines. But this is also a special Saturday session because I will be having a more of a showcase session today. So for those who have been here for the past 5 runs, this is the sixth one. The first 5 were more of introducing the sustainable development goals, but this one is more of today is more of showcasing young leaders initiatives towards acting for the sustainable development goals. So we have invited 6 colleagues of mine to present their respective initiatives to act for the sustainable development goals. So I think we're also live on YouTube right now. So if we can also promote that, and we can also tell our friends to watch the video and even share their questions and their insights. So I've just posted it in our group chat. So welcome. So again, for those who haven't known me, this is me. I'm Mark Jacinto. I'm the co-chairperson for operations of the Southeast Asian Leaders Organization. And then I'm also currently the field SDG advocate of the My Rule 2030, which is an initiative powered by the UNDP, UN SDG Action Campaign, and UN volunteers to raise awareness, action, and advocacy for the Sustainable Development Goals. Then I'm also the chief builder of Pass It On. So Pass It On is a self-care organization that aims to embrace self-care and engage in selfless acts towards a passion, positivity, purpose, and progression. And then I'm also involved with Limitless Lab and Our Love Training Group. Our Love Training Group is an initiative led by one of our moderators, Mr. Reynard Francisco. So I'm not sure if he's here, but yeah. So yeah, before we formally start the program, so we would like to know you more. So introduce yourselves. Feel free to comment down or chat the following below. So who are you? Where are you from? And what do you do? If you're still working, where are you working? And if you're studying, where do you study? So yeah, feel free to comment it down below, and I'm glad to read all of them one by one. Also, for those who are in YouTube, feel free to comment down your introductions. I'm also reading your comments in YouTube. So hi to Ishami. Hello. Hope you're great. So again, for our YouTube colleagues, feel free to comment down also the following. Where are you from? What's your name? And what do you do? So hi, Daniel. She's a grade 11 student in PSHSMC. Hi, Christopher Bernard Benong. So faculty from Foundation University. So we'll be having Cyril later to present Foundation University's initiatives to act for the Sustainable Development Goals. We also have Nirmal. Nice seeing you here again. Ashish again, of course. We have Trisha, grade 10. Anjali, of course. Jamil from San Pedro, Laguna. Jella, of course, Garbage Women. Yeah, Mar, Christian Mendoza, Charis. How about our friends from YouTube? So feel free to comment down. Isa from Bacolod. Hi, hi. Maayong hapon. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but maayong hapon sa inyong tanan. Ashu Rich, Imus, okay, Anton, grade 11 from Northfield. So we have different crowd today. So we have friends from here around the country. We have from Bacolod, from Dumaguete, from Davao, from General Santos, from Baguio. We also have like colleagues and friends from Indonesia, Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh. So welcome. And I would also like to say hi to our YouTube watchers. So hi to Isha May, hi to Dana, and hi to the other 12 watchers on YouTube. So hi Camille from La Union. Nice. Yeah. Hi Roy. Hi Benedict. So we really have a diverse crowd today, and we hope we learn a lot from today. Yeah, because we have 6 invited young leaders today to present their initiatives for the SDGs. So now, of course, why are we here? Of course, we are here, most of us, because it's quarantine, or maybe because it's a Black Saturday. We're not doing as much, and we just want to learn from one another and use this as a motivation for us to take action uh, on what we are doing, and even being inspired to elevate and strengthen our action towards the sustainable development goals. So these are the objectives. So the main objective of the online SDG Youth Action Forum. So we started from March 31, and it happened every 2 days until April 8th. And the main objective of it is to really introduce the SDGs to participants. So for the past 5 sessions, we had around 320 participants from over 12 countries. And then we also had, a lot of learned insights during those runs. So it's the same run, but I learned a lot during the runs. And aside from that, it also aims to solidify the participants' sense of ownership and commitment to act for the sustainable development goals. So yeah, so just a few house rules and principles, particularly those who are in the Zoom call. So first is, please be open-minded to the ideas, discussions, and insights. So again, as mentioned, we are really diverse today because we have around 60, 70 participants, and most of them are in the Philippines, across different areas in the Philippines. And we also have different participants from Bangladesh, Nepal, and other countries. So we hope we can be open-minded and diverse to those ideas and discussions. Next is, of course, this is an image we can hear. Please do not hesitate to ask, especially for those who want to ask. Feel free to comment down below, particularly in our soup group chat. And for those who are in YouTube, feel free to comment down in the chat comments in the live video below. So again, please listen when someone is talking. And of course, please mute our microphones, especially some of us have noisy backgrounds. Please mute our mics as much as possible. And then if you want to speak up, and if you want to share our insights, comments, feedbacks, and questions, feel free to comment it below or raise your hand. Okay? I think we're good. We're good. So, of course, for the past few days and weeks, we've been discussing the SDGs. For some of us, we already know that the SDGs were launched in the year 2015, and it's a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure all people enjoy peace and prosperity. And then we knew that for the past few sessions, it's a guide. Like, we have a free will to use it, and it's like astrology, wherein we can be guided by it, and we have a free will to use it. And it also seems like a tour guide, wherein it's not technically we're required to use it, but if we do, it gives us a system, like how tour guides give us a system of providing information to us when we are touring to different countries and places. And then, of course, SDGs are also helping us further understand what we can systematically do to change the world, solve issues, and make a mark. So we know that we have different global issues right now. We have the climate crisis, we have the coronavirus disease, of course, which is really heavily affecting our world and even our communities, both economically, socially, and even and even in other aspects. And then, of course, we have different territorial disputes and other issues happening in our respective communities. So now, of course, we believe our present and our future are on the line. And our goals, especially our personal goals, maybe we want to graduate, or maybe we want to be a lawyer, or we want to be rich. These personal goals might just be personal goals forever if we do not do something for the world. So I know that most of us are already been doing actions for the global goals. So we know that people in Hong Kong are majority youth led, like age 18 to 24, and of course, climate strike. Majority of them are like straight from classes going to strike to protect and advocate for their future and the future generations. Then, of course, we have outstanding young leaders here and abroad. And today, we're really honored to have invited six accomplished young leaders or six young leaders who will be presenting their respective initiatives today towards acting for the Sustainable Development Goals. So we'll be having Cyril. After him, we'll be having Angela, then Ina, then Angeli, then Marian, and then Myrus. So yeah, we'll be giving them 8 to 10 minutes to present, and then feel free again to comment down your comments and insights below. So we'll be raising it up after their presentation or after everything is done or everyone is done. So to present first, so I'll fix first my laptop. To present first, may we please call on Mr. Cyril Mapula. So he's the Director for Social Innovation of the Foundation University in Dumaguete City. So Cyril, go ahead. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Hello, guys. Good afternoon. I'm Cyril from Foundation University, Dumaguete City. I direct the social innovation initiatives of the school. Actually, we're just new in the ecosystem. We just immersed ourselves last year. And I would also like to share that the city and our province is also new to all these initiatives. And the main goal of Foundation University is to start, develop, and even push forward the creation of a social innovation ecosystem here in our province. Next slide, please. So the Social Innovation Center has a few goals. I would say this is the general view on how we are taking or where are we taking the Social Innovation Center towards. Hi, Mark. Can you go to the next slide?
Okay. Yeah, there.
Yes, these are the four things that we are very focused on. First is we want to create an enabling environment. Second, we want to encourage the community to generate ideas. Next is to create problem solvers in our community. And lastly, to empower the communities. Foundation University strongly believes on how an enabling environment is very important for us. As an academic institution, we are a think tank of a lot of things. However, most academic institutions forgot to innovate, not because they wanted to, but because there's no enabling environment where students, even faculty members, could thrive or could basically develop ideas. And that in itself is a very important aspect of where the social innovation center that we want to do. These four areas, next slide please, will be grounded into very key aspects. This is our flagship program. We call it the T subject. T means technology, entrepreneurship, and environment. This is a subject wherein, next slide please, all the things that we are doing on the subject will be grounded into the 17 sustainable development goals. So basically, we are going to introduce to the students all the 17 goals, and we would like them to think of possible solutions where they could possibly hit any of the goals. If they choose only one, two, or three, we don't have a problem with that. We just want them to be encouraged and to start thinking of possible solutions instead of just telling people that we have problems. And with this T subject, by the way, it is a 15-week mentorship program where students will be able to build a business or a business concept out of the 17 sustainable development goals. So, for example, if a student decides to address the problem on hunger, he or she will be guided on creating a social enterprise or a business by way of this T subject. So again, I would like to give emphasis that all students will be required to get this. This is an actual subject that they will be taking. So basically, they will be immersed to the goals. Then they would be asked to create a solution based on the learnings that they will get out of the T subject. And it will be infused, or it would be given more, should I say, learning by way of social business. If you are familiar with Professor Muhammad Yunus, the proponent of social business, Foundation
Yeah.
University also has the first Yunus Social Business Center in the Philippines. So we are not just telling them to do business, but we are telling them to do social business, a business that solves a social problem. And in this case, problems presented by the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. This is only available for the tertiary department as of the moment. We have key individuals, members of the committee who are creating the subject, who are also listening right now. I would like to give some shout out to Sir Wilson and Sir Christopher, who are here in this forum. Aside from that, we are working with UN SDNS, if I'm not mistaken, UN SDNS
SDSN.
Youth,
SDSN.
SDSN Youth.
Yeah.
We are going to incorporate all sustainable development goals in our basic and secondary education curriculum.
Nice.
So from grade one until junior high school and also in senior high school, they will be immersed already. The goal is not for them to solve the problems right away. The goal for them is to eventually look at things as areas they could provide solutions, where they could pitch in their ideas. If there would be a quick question later, maybe after, the students will not do business because this is just a subject. Basically, we don't care. What we care about is we provided them life ready skills based on the UN SDGs. Because as an academic institution, again, we want to provide them an experience where it's not limited on the four walls of the classroom. It's not limited on what the book is demanding them to say. It's basically telling them that there's a whole lot of things in our society, to be very specific, that we are going through right now, and we need the youth to take action in it. Next slide, please.
Wait. Yeah.
This is how we look at our T subject. So let's go on the far left first. So the FU students will take a 15-week mentorship program, the T subject. However, we are not limiting ourselves into that. If you're going to go to the second aspect, businesses, communities, and entrepreneurs who are already having their businesses could also take the T subject by way of modules. So basically, we are sharing what we do in FU. This is what I always say to our partners, that whatever we do inside the school, we share this to the community. Um, the academy is not like an ivory tower where all things we know about. We want to share things to the communities because we believe we will also learn from the communities. Next, where ideas, startups, businesses, social enterprises, and others could go through incubation, sprint, acceleration, and upscaling of their businesses. So basically, we're not limiting ourselves to early startup or startups. We are also trying to support businesses who want to change business models, who want to change how they do things, or in fact, here in our city, we don't have the infrastructure or the systems that you have, the social innovation community or ecosystem. There are businesses that are actually social enterprises already, but they do not know. That's where we want also to position ourselves. We want to diversify how business is done in the community. I mean, especially with the whole coronavirus thing, we are pushing on how things should be done in a very innovative way. On the last part, on the communities, we are taking a look on funding. Funding specifically, where are we going to put funding? Um, I would be very vivid on saying that whatever funding or support we are getting, this will go back. This will go directly to the communities, and this is a project that the school is committed. More than anything else, the social innovation system. Yes, it is part of our income generating initiatives, but it is primarily for community development, providing life ready skills to our students and have an enabling environment in our community. So basically on Foundation University Social Innovation Initiatives, this is our flagship program. It could expand, it could reach to different areas and different sectors, but that's where we are right now. And lastly, if you're gonna ask me how are we going to accomplish all of these, um, let's go back to SDG number 17, which is partnerships. So we believe that with partners, I saw Erwin a while ago. He's here. He's one of our very important partners. Makes sense. Ashoka, they're very helpful with us. So with partnerships, we believe FU and our province will be able to do these things together.
Okay, you're done. Oh, thank you so much, Cyril. Okay, thank you for your wonderful presentation. Again, if we have insights, comments, questions, or even reactions, feel free to comment it down or feel free to raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you later. Thank you so much, Cyril. So now, for the second presenter from Project Iwasto, let's call on Miss Angela Aquino to present her presentation. So,
Hi.
I'll just control.
Yeah,
Okay,
first go
so
to the first slide.
yeah, I'll go to the first slide.
Yeah,
There.
thank you so much, Mark. So
Okay, so I gave you the control of
the
my screen,
control.
so feel
Okay.
free.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So hello, I'm Angela. I'm here to showcase to you little bits about Project Iwasto, its relation to the SDGs, and the use of strategy for culture change in order to scale social impact. I first heard about sustainable development goals when I applied as a delegate for the third Asia Pacific Youth Exchange way back in October 2016. After the youth exchange, I became a registered youth for global goals. However, I'm an inactive ambassador because during that time I have a full-time job and was taking my master's in environmental science and system management. I was also part of the pioneer batch for the learning circle leaders for the fourth APYE. And for my work experience, either full-time, part-time, or as a consultant, you can see them here with the one at the bottom right corner as my current work, which I will talk about later. First, now, what is your greatest fear?
Yeah, feel free to comment it down below. So,
Okay.
what is your greatest
Comment,
fear?
guys.
So, feel free to comment it down. Your answers, your
Maybe.
insights.
Like, are
Yeah.
you afraid of the dark or anything?
Ako, sorry.
So this for me right now is my
Coronavirus.
fear. So does it look familiar? It's a scene from Wall-E. Wall-E is a very cute movie with cute characters, but it is also very terrifying. The state of the earth in this movie is so alarming for me. It haunts me in my dreams from time to time. The captain said something in this movie that I can never forget. He said, "Out there is our home auto, and it's in trouble. I can't just sit here and do nothing. That's all I've ever done. That's all anyone in this blasted ship has ever done." Well, although, yeah, in our current state, we should stay at home, but what have we been doing before this quarantine? And are we actually willing to do the same things after the quarantine? Remember, the main reason why we are in this state right now is that we're doing something, or rather, a lot of things that are not sustainable for the earth. We tip the scale and it's not balanced. Was Thanos right all along? So, as you can see in this inverted triangle, is it changing? Did it change? All right, here. Now, in this inverted triangle, the portion of reduce is larger than of disposal. That means it has the most effect on solid waste management. Reduction of our solid waste, as you can see here, is solely under the control of households or individuals. The rest, for reuse, recycle, recovery, treatment, and safe disposal, can be influenced by the government, from barangay level up to the provincial or national level. But the biggest impact starts from home. At the left, you can see an arrow pointing upwards with reduction as the most preferred option, then safe disposal. At the right, there is another arrow with the caption difficulty of execution, because the options from recycling down to safe disposal can be made into a system. it's easier to implement. Reduction, however, is a social issue, which is also very much a culture issue. So what should be done? Oh yeah, there. Okay, so as you can see, IWASTA stands for Integrated Waste Analysis, Survey, and Technological Options. So it is a 2-year USD-funded project under the IM4 Manila Bay program. The project aims to provide policy support for RA 9003. If you're aware of that, it is the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000 by using a holistic approach. So the basic process is shown here is the summary of the project logic diagram that we derived from our planning session back in February. We start from the secondary data gathering to coordination with local government community. Then we deploy the equipments for recycling of solid waste and community engagement. A series of other activities like monitoring, evaluation, and data analysis prior to the derivation of the recommendations for policy support. Can we go back to the previous slides?
Sorry.
Okay, so by the way, I have read the RA 9003 and it's implementing rules and regulations back to back. And it's a good policy. But we do still have a problem on solid waste management. Why? So I will discuss that later on. Now, unlike the other organizations here, Project Iwasta is not a social entrepreneurship or a membership organization that you can join in. So instead, I'll share with you our strategy for scaling social impacts. And I hope that you can apply this for your own projects. But first, did the slides change? Yeah, there. Okay. So first, what is social impact, scale, and scaling social impact? So in other words, social impact is making a dent. The change that you want to see is finally starting to happen. And then, so what is scale for? Scale is taking it to the next level. Scale is step 2. Scaling a social impact is making sure that the change you work so hard for to stay and increase the magnitude of its effect to finally, from just creating a dent to tipping the scale towards sustainable development. So how do we scale it? There are many ways to scale a social impact. One of them is a strategy that we are using for our project. So this is the strategy for culture change. Although empowering the individual may be a key to change in behavior, it is not enough to change a culture. So according to Brian Nozak, interventions that provide individual motivation and ability to change may be ineffective because of strong norms, incentives, policies that counter the intended behavior. So the strategy of culture change by Center of Open Science requires 5 levels of intervention as represented by the image that you see on your screens. So in infrastructure is located at the base. This is the first that should be provided to a community in order to facilitate culture change. In our project, this is the availability of material recovery facility and the equipment needed to recycle and recover waste materials. Infrastructure should enable the community to act on the change that they want. Next, after that is user interface. So yeah, that circular encircled thing. We're not there yet. We'll get there soon. All right. For next is the user interface or experience. Make change easy and accessible to people. In our project, we will train the community on how to operate, maintain, and troubleshoot the equipment. That way, we can they can take ownership of the process and make it theirs. So next is the community. Culture change is nothing without community. In our project, periodic community engagement is is vital to make sure that the project becomes sustainable. For a practice to become a culture, it needs to be done continuously as a norm to the community. Next is incentives. So now, who doesn't like a treat, right? So even though a process has become a norm to the community, if it doesn't benefit them in any way, it won't last. The output of the equipment that we will deploy to the community can help them earn a little extra on the side. It doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be sort of rewarding in exchange to the effort exerted for the behavior change. And last is policy. Enacting policies make sure that those actions are actually done. But why should it be the last one to be made in the strategy? The reason why policy support comes last, as the final objective of our project, is that we had to make sure that our recommendations represent the truth and how we can actually improve the state of solid waste management in the community. Policies should be based on truth, reason, and science. Policies should be for the people, by the people. That way, we can make sure that the policies we create will be sustainable. So, in the end, everything in the pyramid, from infrastructure to policy, should be beneficial for the community. That way, we can make sure our social impact is sustainable for development. So that's it. And I hope that you can understand or you can apply this to your project if ever you have one. And that's it. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you so much, Angela, for that wonderful presentation. So again, just reminders for everyone. So if we're not, please turn off our microphones if we're not talking, so that yeah, we don't disturb the echo of everyone, particularly those who are in headphones. And I just want to say hi to our viewers on YouTube. So we have, I think, 15 viewers who are live right now there. So if they want, feel free to join also our YouTube channel and our YouTube live video. So yeah, next presenter. So we have our second presenter already. Next presenter is from Love Education. So she's the Chief Executive Officer of Love Education Philippines and also one of the founders of the initiative. May we please welcome Miss Ina Salazar. So wait, just one moment.
Hi.
Yeah, here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tina Salazar, and I would like to start with a very, very favorite topic of mine. I usually talk about it with my friends. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's called the five love languages. Most common thing about it is that it's our way of telling people that we love them. It's our way of letting other people know that we care for them. But how often do we ask ourselves how we want to be loved? So my name is Ina Salazar, and I was told that if your dream job doesn't exist, you have to create it. So I do not agree that I'm just a teacher. I'm a teacher slash storyteller slash diwata. For those who want to contest, please comment yes. And I am committed to my goal. And every time I speak in front of students, in front of young professionals, in front of my friends, they always ask me why love or why do you want to love? And I would always say, why not? I want to love because I'm committed to the quality education that I experienced growing up. Growing up, I'm with my mom and my lola. We're all teachers, and we were committed. Oh, I experienced this kind of love that teachers make everyone feel welcome. Teachers have a way that people can enjoy their or that students can enjoy their class, and people who are teachers will find a way to make every class an interactive one. If I'm going to ask you who your favorite teacher is, you will remember. You will remember their name. You will remember how you felt during that class. And mind you, every Filipino kid deserves that kind of love. That's why I was really very happy when the Sustainable Development Goals issued this very comprehensive plan to make sure that every kid, man or girl or boy, whatever the religion is, wherever he or she is in the social strata, given quality education. I would also want to acknowledge that the education system in the Philippines is beyond. We have one of the greatest educational system, but the problem lies with access to it. not everyone, not all Filipino kids are given access to it. Even the books, they're not given enough. That's why when we visit communities near the mountains, their books. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. If you're of my age, I'm 25. If you're of my age, we have this blue book in English. It's called English for All, and then we have this violet book in Filipino. So that's about 20 years ago, right? That is the same book that the kids near the mountain are using right now. If you do not find it alarming, I'm not sure what the problem is. If we go to the next slide, this shows the statistics of how many students graduate in college. For you to imagine it, imagine 10 students, only 8 can enroll to preschool education. Only 6 will graduate grade 6, 4 will graduate high school, and only 2 will graduate college. That 2 or that 20% will be part of the workforce, the positive workforce that we have. Okay, they graduated already, but what happened to the 8? This alarming rate of dropout enable us to commit to the goals of the SDG, to commit to Ambition 2040. And when people ask me, why do you have to commit to it? I will always say that it's my passion. Your passion is your sense of personal hope mixed with your goals and reflection that makes your way to a positive impact. Because you are looking to this future that you want, a future that you want to live in, you will do anything that you can just to get there, right? You will do anything just because you love that future, just because you're passionate to be in that future, right? But I always tell my friends that love without action is just confusing. It's not relatable. People will go, what? So you really have to be clear what you want to do. You really have to be clear with your action. That's why in the next slide, you will see that love education started with nothing but love as capital and driving force, but now we have encompassing love. We have to identify the community's needs, just like what our previous speaker said a while ago. You can't just give a community the things that you want to give them. You have to give them what they need. So we identified problems first. Say, for example, the problems are access to quality books. So after identifying the problem, we do solutions. We do something about it. The next slide will show you that money is hard. We don't have a lot, but we had enough to get by. We call our sponsors our enablers to make sure that we do our loving goal every time. And it is also important that you set your goals so that you can celebrate tiny victories along the way. Those are called your success indicators. That's the common frustration of people who want to start their organization. They feel like, okay, I cannot do things, I don't know how to do it, just because they don't know what they're doing. So it's very important that you have your success indicators on.
Oops, sorry about that.
It's okay, Mark.
I'm just muting people.
So we have different activities. The next slide will show you how we are committed to making every kid in our community feel loved. We have this community. The next slide, please. This community in Calamba, Laguna. One of my volunteers, Joanna, crafted this module that teaches kids how to love the environment. The next slide will show you how we committed to making these kids, these street kids in Rizal Park, develop a genuine love through teaching and reading, because they don't go to school, right? So we provided them with avenues to learn, and we have lots of people pulling in resources and volunteering for love education. Next slide will show you our commitment to bring books to communities in Coron. This just happened this year. And of course, different initiatives online that will empower people to help, even though they're not volunteering. We have Read Love Challenge, wherein people get to read their favorite book. The next slide will show you that. And hashtag raise 500 notebooks for the communities in San Pablo City. We also did a drive wherein we want to collect rubber shoes, because most of the kids these days are not into play anymore. So we want them to move around, and that's one of our many commitments to the kids, so that they can grow to be holistic and develop this love for learning. Aside from that, we're also inspired to see kids smile all the time, because it's not just the kids in school that needs our help. It's the kids on the streets, it's the kids on the mountain, it's the kids on living in the shore, because we should not be limited to those kinds of donations. One of my favorite artists said that we have to find love in hopeless places. I know you know who the artist is. I would also want to say that we can make every place a hopeful one. The next slide will show you that. We want, or personally, my personal goal is for Filipinos, for young professional, and for the youth to think about their version of the future that they want to live in and make it as hopeful as possible that they will get there. But it's also that favorite artist, Rihanna the Queen. It's also Rihanna that tells us that we have to work hard. Actually, in her song, she didn't say that you work once only. She said to work 5 times. It's work, 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 work. Okay? So in achieving the sustainable development goals, we have to work hard. The next few slides will show you that. And towards the end already. We have to work hard to make sure that we're committed to the goal. And if you read on the sustainable development goals, it's not just solving one after the other. It's actually an integrated solution. So if you're thinking that you cannot do something about things, try to message those people who you believe can bring you or can inspire you to do more. Message those enablers that you have. Message those people that you think can be part of the mission, and start from there. Because we have to appreciate that collaboration can bring us to a lot of things. Collaboration can turn your dreams, can turn your vision into action. And I inspire you tonight to message an enabler that you know that can help you with your goal. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ina Salazar. Please follow our Facebook and Instagram page and visit our website. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ina, with the wonderful presentation. May pa-reference pa kay Rihanna, which is really funny and really nice. Yeah, I really like it. And I hope a lot of us got related to her insights and initiatives. So thank you again, Ina, for that. So next, for our fourth presenter. So she's also one of my fellow field SDG advocates for My World 2030, which is an initiative powered by the UNDP, UN SDG Action Campaign, and UN volunteers. And she's also working for Habitat for Humanity. So next presenter is Miss Angeli Alba Pascual. So go ahead, Angeli.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. Hope you're having a good. Hope you're having a good after Saturday afternoon. It's April 11, and I think it's a good day to talk about SDG 11. Yeah. Do I have control now?
Yeah, you do.
It's still Could we
waiting
go back
for
to the
you.
very first slide?
Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I think I'm the oldest in this group.
Well,
As I said, it's April 11. It's a good time to talk about SDG 11, housing and the youth. I want this to really be a way for us to raise awareness around the SDGs and particularly SDG 11 and housing. So if you have anything that you like on my presentation, please feel free to tweet or post it on your social media accounts. And using those hashtags in my Twitter account. Okay. Oops. I'm with Habitat, and our vision is to build a world where everyone has a decent place to live. And we have been around since 1979. We were founded in the United States, but here in Asia Pacific, we've been around since 1983. And in 2019 alone, we helped almost 3.2 million people in the region improve the place that they call home through various housing solutions. I saw a lot of engineers and engineering students and architects during the introduction, so I think this will be close to your heart. Before we begin, I want to challenge you to draw your ideal community. What makes a community good? Grab a piece of pen and paper. And draw just what makes a community good for individuals and their family. And I'd like you to draw the natural, so environmental, built, and human resources that a family might need in order to thrive in the community. So the more essential it is, the better, or the closer it is to the center of the circle. I'll give you maybe 20 seconds to do this. If you're able, please post it somewhere, just so we'd be able to see, or send it to Mark. All right. Okay. Yeah, since 2012, Habitat has organized the Young Leaders Build campaign. So this is an annual movement that engages young people to contribute towards the housing solutions and to help families achieve strength, stability, and self-reliance through shelter, as well as sustainable communities or settlements. In the past 8 years, this had been our success. In 2019, we actually, our 2.6 million supporters from around the Asia Pacific region actually helped work on 611 houses and supported 877 families. But that's a huge number. But why are we still very passionate about talking about housing need and getting people to help? It's because of the huge needs still in the Asia Pacific region. One in two of the world's poor live in the Asia Pacific region. 1 in 2 of people who live in slums are in the Asia Pacific region. And actually, the migration from rural to the urban centers it generates a need for 20,000 new daily 30,000 new dwellings daily just to be able to accommodate all of the migration, urbanization coming in. And that presents a lot of challenges in terms of health, in terms of our services such as health and education, electricity, waste management. And on top of that, the Asia Pacific region is also more vulnerable to natural disasters. So why is a housing nonprofit like Habitat working on raising awareness for SDG 11? This is because SDG 11 and housing is intricately linked. SDG 11 talks about inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable cities and human settlements. When we say human settlements, that's the house itself, plus all of the other facilities that are around it that makes living bearable and quality for a family. So And then if you look at the targets for SDG 11, housing is actually target number 1. By 2030, we want everyone to have access to adequate, safe, and affordable housing. We want them to have basic services, so water, electricity, health, education, roads, and we want slums to be upgraded. And to report on successes, under indicator 11.1.1, we're actually reporting on the proportion or the number of people living of the urban population living in slums, informal settlements, or inadequate housing. The lesser the proportion of people in slums or in inadequate housing, the more successful we are, or the more positive our progress is for SDG 11. And also, if you look maybe at your drawing about what makes an ideal community, hopefully you'll see a house there. It's one of the 3 essential needs actually of a family. You need food and water, and also you need shelter. Yeah. So, sorry, it's not working.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so the UNSCAP says we're regressing on SDG 11, and we need everyone to be working either to contribute towards SDG 11 or to report on SDG 11. I think we'll share it with you later. And with the COVID-19 pandemic, we see that housing is really very huge. There's a huge link between housing, cities, slums, and health. So why the youth? Because we believe that they really can do good for their communities. And in the next 10 years, will be finding the urban life, and we will be the heirs, and we will be living out the future that we're building right now. Okay, so for Young Leaders Build, we're asking people to volunteer on our build sites once we're all able to go out of our homes. We ask them to contribute to our disaster resilience and house building and construction. We're asking them to advocate for policies and systems change on land and housing. We also want them to raise awareness and to raise funds. And then, sorry. And then, right now we are in 18 countries. This is how you can contribute to SDG 11. I'll send out the link later. And then I ask you to research on your national and local contexts, contribute to your country's reporting on SDG 11, and to report to the My World 2030. There's the link there. Just take a photo. And finally, I ask you to continue the conversation. Ooh, there's somebody from Habitat in Nepal. I love it. And then let's continue the conversation. On SDG 11, Health and Housing, we have a Facebook group. That's the URL. And then on June 11, we have a webinar precisely to talk about SDG 11, Health and Housing, from some of our colleagues across the region. So please join us there.
Yeah, Angeli, they were telling if you can post the URL in the group chat.
Will do.
Or even in the group, Facebook group. So yeah, thank you so much again for that. Angelo, what a wonderful representation. And it's nice to see a fellow advocate, field SDG advocate, presenting their respective initiatives as well. So yeah, nice. Thank you so much, Angeli. So for our fifth presenter, so she's also, of course, most of us might already know her because she's also one of our moderators for the online SDG Youth Action Forum. So representing JCI Philippines, please welcome the National Director for UN SDGs, Miss Marian Sige. So let's give her a warm round of applause while I'm bringing up her screen, her presentation. So yeah, wait, go ahead, Marian. Where's Marian? Hello. Yeah. So while we're waiting for Marian, feel free to comment down your insights and your insights below and such. Marian, are you ready? Yeah. We almost have almost 100 participants today here the in the online SDG Youth Action Forum Saturday showcase session. So we also have around 20 participants for the online YouTube channel. So feel free to comment. So Yan, go ahead. Are you ready? Yan? I'm not sure if Yan is ready. But feel free to comment down your insights while we are waiting for Marian. Or if not, is Mirrors ready? Mirrors, are you ready? Yan? Hello, sorry for the technical difficulties. Yan? Hello? Marian? Yeah, so what did you learn so far? Feel free to comment down your insights below while we are waiting for Marian to be responsive. Yeah. Anyone who wants to share their insights? Yeah. Anyone? Feel free to comment down what did you learn, what did you feel. Maybe we can, while waiting for Marian, is it possible for Myrus to go first? Yeah, while we're waiting. Is Myrus already here? Myrus?
Yes, please.
Reynard, are you here? Hello, Reynard.
Hi, Mark. Good afternoon. Good afternoon,
You want
everyone.
to salo? You want to cover first for Marian, since you're also JCI.
Presentation, sure.
Yeah, I'll give you the presentation.
Sure.
Yeah, you're already controlling my screen. You can control it. Okay.
I can
Go
control
ahead.
market. Okay. So first of
You can
all,
control na mine.
One moment.
So,
Should I use
can you
my
hear me,
laptop?
guys?
Ayan,
Ayan.
Marian is there. Yay.
Okay.
So,
Okay na.
yeah,
Sorry,
just,
sorry. Technical
no
difficulties.
worries.
Hello.
I'll just give you the microphone,
I'm
the
using
control.
my phone right
Okay.
now.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay na.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no worries. We're almost
Alright.
100.
So, good
Yay!
afternoon,
Almost
everyone.
100. Yeah. Hello.
Hi. Okay na. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marian C. The National Director of UNSBGCI Philippines. First, I'd like to thank everyone for participating in today's session. Kahit Holy Week, you guys allotted your time to listen to us. We really
I
appreciate
think you have
what you do
echo.
and
Marian, I think you have echo. Or I don't know who's on. Sige, Marian, go ahead. Hello. Sige. Reynard, you want to speak first? Hello.
Yes, Mark.
Yeah.
Hello.
Reynard is also from JCI. So Reynard, go ahead.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, of course, I'd like to thank everyone that you're here. And just like a while ago, it's very insightful. And now, let me share to you what JCI is. My name is Reynard Francisco, and I'm from JCI Makati, also representing JCI Philippines and other organizations while, Marian's still fixing her mic. So, first of all,
Marian,
let
I
me
think Marian
introduce
is
to you.
there.
Okay na?
Marian, hello.
Okay na.
Wala pa.
Yan na.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah. What is GCI? So GCI is Chamber International. We're GC guys international incorporated was get a lot. We're more than a GCI, which is an affiliated around 120 countries, national organization worldwide. It is the organization of young active citizens aged 18 to 40 years old who are living, communicating, taking action, creating impact in our communities. So next slide, please, Mark. So GCI Philippines is one of the national organization of the GCI International. It is the first national organization of GCI in the Asia Pacific. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, I think Marianne can't present properly because of her signal. Yeah, I think let's give it to Reynard. Reynard, since he's also from JCI Philippines and was also a national chair before. So Reynard, you wanna represent Marianne instead? Hello.
Yes, hello. While
Okay.
we're waiting again for Marian. Hello.
Yeah, you're good. You're clear.
Okay, so thank you, Mark. While we wait for Marian, we're very sorry for this technical difficulty. So, as Marian was saying, JCI Philippines is a worldwide organization. Our mission is actually to provide development opportunity to empower young people to create positive change. Here in the Philippines, we are known to be as the Philippine JCs Incorporated, and we are existing here in the Philippines since 1949. Across the archipelago, we have almost 250 local organizations with around 8,000 members. So, as we say, JCI missions is to provide development opportunities that empower young people to create positive change. JCI Visions is to be the leading global network of young active citizens. It's open from ages 18 to 40 years old. So that's, I think, one of the, maybe I can say, well, not unique, but uh, a provision for you to, the basic provision for you to be a JCI. You have to be up 18 to 40 years old. And hello, next, Mark.
Yeah.
All right.
Here.
So let me discuss to you what are the UNSDG initiatives of the JCI for this 2020. You know, JCI has been a long time partner of United Nations since SDG was formulated. And for 2020, these, is- these are our uh, directive to have our local members be knowledgeable about the 17 goals, to introduce UNSDG to other NGO and LGU, to encourage NGO and LGUs to implement UNSDG. So primarily, uh, why is JCI advocating UNSDG? By 2030, JCI's vision is very simple. We want to unite different sectors of the society to create sustainable impact. In JCI, we believe that yes, we are a global organization, but we primarily believe that we cannot do it alone. Collaboration is very, very important. That's why these different sectors, which is business, government, private sector, and other social civic organization, we want to unite it. Now, what are the national programs that JCI has been implementing that is related with UNSDG? Now, first is uh, Think Green. Think Green is this project is focused on environment sustainability and aims to address to climate change, which is serious to global issues today. So primarily, we're talking about SDG number 13, which is climate action, SDG 15, life on land, and last 2018, um, we launched a specific project for JCI all about life below water. Some of the, I think, landmark project that JCI did for Think Green is number one is the JCI EcoBricks project. So last 2018, we launched a project in partnership with Johnson and Johnson's in Parañaque, and we focused to build a classroom made of EcoBricks. So still, it's an ongoing project in the Huerta Elementary School. It's a continuous project with them, and I think that's where really good partnership comes in. All right. Next is yeah, these are the sample projects that we have. Now, next is Got Heart, which gives focus to SDG number 3, which is good health and well-being. Andy Marian, I think you're good to go. Are you here?
Hello? Okay na ba?
Yeah.
Yan. Okay.
Thank you. Guys, I'm so sorry again. So were we? Got Heart?
Yeah.
Tama. So Got Heart is a community health awareness program which seeks to promote good health and well-being in the underprivileged communities through series of healthcare projects such as medical, dental, and surgical missions, distribution of free medicines, eye checkup, hygiene, fitness, and education. So very timely siya because of the COVID issue. Oh, wait lang. Sorry. Hello? Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So for
Go
Got
ahead.
Heart, yun nga, very timely because of what is happening today, not only here in the Philippines, but to other countries as well. Different JCI chapters has their own initiatives for this situation, such as donation drives, distribution of food packs, medicines, and PPEs. So in the so dun sa second slide, next slide please. So GCI Puerto Princesa Oil is one of the first chapters who implemented the face shields. Kindly go back, Mark, please. Thank you. Ayan. So these are the initiative projects of the other chapters of N. So as you can see, meron kaming Oplan Damayan for GCI Manila, Oplan Bayanihan from GCI Manilena. Then yung sinasabi ko kanina is yung Puerto Princesa Oil is the first chapters who implemented the face shields. So next, of course, as much as possible, we encourage everyone to stay at home. So in GCI Philippines, we also initiated some infographic posters that can help everyone to prevent spread of COVID-19. And next po. I'll answer po some of your questions later, the difference of GCI Manila and Manilena. So next is Bags to School. So it is one of the flagship projects of GCI Philippines. Every year, local organizations provide impoverished Filipino students. Ayan yung GCI chapters na nag-implement ng Bags to School. So as you can see, that's my LO chapter. So imagine if GCI Philippines has 250 chapters, and for each chapter, they can provide 100 bags. We can help 25,000 kids. Diba? Medyo sobrang laki ng impact sa community. So, next slide, please, Mark. Sorry. Ayan. So it's an international level. These are the GCI partners of GCI International. GCI maintains global partnership to further spread its entrepreneurship opportunities and maximize the impact of the community works of our members to everyday. So as you can see, kasama po ang action campaign ng UNSDG. UNICEF, Kiwanis, Nothing But Nets. Next slide, please.
Anong number na? Yan na.
Sorry, can you please turn off your microphone? All right.
Yeah.
So for this one, it is I was given the opportunity to attend the Kanazawa conference. So Kanazawa conference, kindly go back more, has been held each year in Japan in the city of Kanazawa. So JCR participants from national organizations from around the world meet to share their experiences in accomplishing the UN SDGs and to encourage one another in their endeavors in sharing their experiences toward achieving the UN SDG in the whole new level. So next is we are currently working with SDG pioneers. Next slide, please, Mark. So I think meron akong fellow SDG pioneers here. I think Ashish is here from JCI Nepal. Hello. So
Marin. Hello.
hello. So this project aims to
Hello,
connect national organization members across Asia Pacific and build collective efforts towards UN SDGs. So as you can see in the poster, there are 14 national organizations who are working together to share their best practices for this program. So each group will be required to write up a project proposal. So I was assigned in the goal 12. And I think NC Reynard, NC, what's your goal assigned? Quality education, am I right?
Yes, quality education.
No, quality education. So that's it. So let's make the world better for 2030 and leave no one behind. Again, my name is Marian Sige and I'm the National Director for UNSDG of JCI Philippines. Again, I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. I asked Mark if we can play the UNSDG campaign of JCI Philippines after after this
Is it okay
presentation.
if
So
we just, since
later,
we're already
is it
lack of
okay?
time, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it okay if we later and we can
Yes.
post it on
Thank you,
the
Mark.
Facebook group na lang since
Thank
we're
you,
almost lack
Mark.
of time. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so
Sorry
much,
again.
Yan, for a wonderful presentation. So later, we'll be having our panel to answer the question. So feel free to, I'll be moderating it. So thank you so much, Yan. So last but not the least, let's have, wait, one moment. Last but not the least, let's have Myrus Punon. He's the founder and the current leader of the Youth Advocates for the Philippines. So, Myrus, wait, one moment. Go ahead. So I'll be giving you the screen, the remote. Okay, Myrus, can
Okay.
you hear us?
Hello, Mark.
Okay.
Okay. Nakaka-pressure naman na maging after ng JCI. But hello, everyone. My name is Myros. I'm probably the youngest here. So I'll be talking about my organization, the Youth Advocates for the Philippines. So yeah, next slide.
You have access to my screen again.
So what is Youth Advocates for the Philippines, or YAP? You may have heard it on Facebook, you may have seen our post here and there, or maybe you haven't yet. So let's try to elaborate and clarify on all your queries regarding that. So what is Youth Advocates for the Philippines? Next slide. Okay, so, oh wait. So okay, before we start, I will introduce myself first. So my name is Emmanuel Myers Espanon. I'm 18 years old. Aside from being the founder of this organization, Youth Advocates for the Philippines, I also hold certain positions at two ASEAN entities, which is at the ASEAN Youth Organization and at the ASEAN University Student Council Union. And through the ASEAN University Student Council Union, due to that election of mine, that's what led Youth Advocates for the Philippines to be what it is today. So you can see what Youth Advocates for the Philippines is based on the description, but it's a youth organization. I believe it's one of the biggest now in the Philippines. I'm confident on saying that. We're a nonprofit and volunteer organization that paves the way for the youth to experience a social civic involvement through a series of advocacy based in projects and initiatives. So it's that we and currently we're accredited by the United Nations Major Group of Children and Youth, the United Nations Environment Program, and the National Youth Commission. So here we consider ourselves as family, and as someone that has been part of NGO since 12 years old, I've experienced were what yun kung ano yung mga excuse me, may nag-whistle ata. But yeah, okay. So now there's I there's someone whistling. Is his
Yeah, I'm muting the mic.
Okay, so we have some core values because baka kasi akalain nyo, ang rami na kasing orgs, diba? So what's the niche of Youth Advocates for the Philippines? So like what I've said earlier, OSCO is when I was elected as the Philippine officer of OSCO, one project of mine was to make a project for the youth. So the challenge was, Myros, try to do something that hasn't been done in the youth scene here in your country. Do something that's going to be sustainable in your country. And I've noticed that there are a lot of organizations here in the Philippines, but despite all of that, parang what if you come to think of it, the lack of selflessness isn't present. Because if you come to think of it, if our leaders were volunteers, if our leaders were actually genuine for our country, that would be a mere reflection on our leaders in public service today. But unfortunately, you see what happened. You see our public service. So we really look at the foundation before scrambling onto these different advocacies. We have to focus on our foundation first. That's the youth. So selflessness, and our next category, next slide, is national consciousness. So national consciousness is very important for the youth to be equipped and to actually care for the country, which I believe a lot do not have. So what is its correlation to the UN SDGs? Of course, in acting locally, we should be thinking globally as well. As we have this framework designed by the United Nations for the entire reflect on our leaders is to be a better place. Okay, so again, as we act locally, we're thinking globally. As we have this framework of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, we have had a framework that we believe that is also feasible for the youth to incorporate, to advocate on. So of course, we're still here. I mean, we're focusing on youth empowerment at the end of the day. And so we have the SDGs, and recently, the last 14 days, we actually just launched our Project Archipelago. So what is Project Archipelago? Like what I've said, we do have the UN SDGs as this global framework. But behind that, we made and actually also did our research on specific advocacies inclined to the UN SDGs that we believe is more feasible and more reliable for the youth ages 13 to 20 in high school and college to actually advocate for. So in each letter of the archipelago, knowing that the archipelago is our the Philippines is an archipelago, edi yun, talagang we actually catered on it. And you can check out our page regarding that. Kuya Mark, iba ata yung na-open mong PDF. Yan ata yung last. I'm not sure. But I'll see. I think, okay. So these are our platforms. Just like JCI, we also have our trademark, which is the Youth Advocate Summit Caravan. So basically, it's our summit where we talk about, yun nga, yung heart of volunteerism, genuine selflessness, the state of the Filipino youth. Because in presenting a problem and in doing a solution, you have to always think of the problem first. And that's what I believe the youth really lacks. Talagang wala tayong sense of direction. That's why Youth Advocates for the Philippines is here. Yeah. So we also have our advocacy series. So it's a masterclass. So it's more on simple, in layman's term, talagang mas maliit, talagang mas detailed yung training namin sa mga advocates. Then we also have our Tabang Nakaron. Wait lang, I'm not sure if it's loading. What happened? Okay, we have also Tabang Nakaron. So through Tabang Nakaron, we actually got featured in GMA. So it's our outreach throughout the Philippines. But we want to make outreaches more sustainable. Then we also have Yap Talks. So we actually also empower speakers to actually talk about not just Yap, but there's certain advocacies as well. And we also have, we have a lot more platforms, except that I have 2 minutes left, so I'm sorry if I'm rushing everything. So yeah, to contact us, you can check us out on Facebook. We're present in every region. So we have respective pages for all regions here in the Philippines. You can also apply through our main site, and you can email me at emmanuel@acnu.net. So for questions and for more detailed conversations, you're free to message me at Facebook or here while we're live. All right. So that's it, Mark. I hope you got a sense of that 5 minute presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Myros, for a really wonderful presentation. I really was like telling and whispering here at background, like here, especially on some statements that you were saying. So really, I was really an insightful presentation. So thank you so much, Mario. So now, may we call on again our sixth panelist. So wait one moment. So again, thank you everyone for sharing. So we'll now have our open forum. I'll just open again the screen, and we would like to congratulate everyone because for the first time we've reached 100 participants here in Zoom. Yay! Like full house. Especially during like from the fourth to the last presentation, and we also have around 25 viewers on YouTube. So I want to say hi to our YouTube viewers. Hi again. So now let's proceed with the open forum. So just a short one. Okay, but yeah, just a short one. So anyone who wants to speak up, or yeah. So again, we have Cyril from Foundation University. We have Angeli from Habitat. We have Ina from Love Education. Angela from Project Iwasto. Marian from JCI. And Myros from Youth Advocates for the Philippines. So anyone who wants to share their questions or share their insights? Yeah, I think I just want to ask, because I think there were people asking above, uh, how to join in JCI and what's the difference between JCI Manila and JCI Manilena. So you want to start, Marian?
Hello. Okay na, rinig ulit.
Yeah, okay.
So I message her na, Jamil. Tama ba? Si Jamil yung nag-message. So the difference of JCI Manila and JCI Manilena, JCI Manila is all boys and JCI Manilena is all girls chapter. So yun lang yun. Yun yung difference.
Okay, that's
How to
great.
join
That's great.
JCI Philippines, I asked her to message me on Facebook. So I'll know kung saan siyang
area.
saan lugar. Kung saan siya
Okay.
naka-base. So different
Okay.
chapters kasi. So yun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Erickson, you have a question? From by AJ. I don't know who is he asking, but I think this is Myros. How did you start everything? Like, wow, at your young age. Myros is 18, probably the youngest presenter here. Yeah, how did you start, Myros?
Okay, so I started when I was 12 years old.
And is Archipelago accepting partners?
Okay, so I have two questions. So first question is, how did I start everything? So I've been part of NGO since I was 12. Kaya when the time came where I had to do a feasible project and sustainable project for my term at the ASEAN University Student Council Union, it wasn't specifically an organization, but I knew that there was something missing from organizations, which led me to do one. It was really hard, but fortunately, through prayers and through effort, talagang a lot helped me along the way. I mean, I can't take the credit for myself, but it is what it is because of me and because of everyone who helped me. And for the second question for Archipelago, yeah, so we actually just launched Archipelago last week, and yeah, we are actually accepting partners. So you can message your page or message me if your school wants to incorporate Project Archipelago. Thank you.
Or you may also post it on Facebook group. I think some YAP members are already posting it and I've been approving it. So yeah, feel free. Okay. Next question. Okay, I just have okay, I'll be the moderator para sistema. So Nirmal has a question for Cyril. Is Cyril still here? I'm not sure if Cyril is still here.
Yes,
Cyril?
I'm still
Yeah,
here.
you're still here. Nirmal, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And hi, Cyril. Thank you so much for your great presentation from the Foundation University as well. I'm quite curious about how the university will manage the bonding and bridging factor among of these students community and those entrepreneurs who is already in the markets. Could you please?
Yeah, in terms of how we bridge our students to mentors, possible angel investors, and should I say supporters, as of the moment, we have created a good pool of mentors and investors who are readily available and are willing to invest whenever there are ideas or whenever our students would be very interested. Before we crafted the whole program, we pitched this to possible investors or partners because we except aside from the curriculum, we see how important the mentors and how this program will shape. So that's very well taken into account in terms of how this program has been created.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so
Okay,
much,
sorry,
Nirmal.
once more, can I mark?
Sorry, Nirmal. Can you just message Cyril privately because we have a lot of questions?
Okay, sure. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes,
Thank you
please
so
message.
much. Next question from Midi Santiago to Angela. How do we communicate science about COVID-19 in an effective way, especially to the young people? Thank you.
For me?
Yeah,
Okay, so
Angela.
how do we communicate science
To young people, especially about COVID-19.
to young people? Specifically what age range?
COVID-19, maybe high school,
Oh,
high school
school.
and college. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, communicating science should be in a way done in a way that is understandable depending on who you're talking to. And I guess for high school students, I think high school students are well knowledgeable enough to tell them about the virus as it is. However, for children younger than that, it would be very difficult. Although, but it helps to tell them the truth honestly about it, so that there's no sugarcoating. Although there will be sugarcoating a bit, so that they won't be that afraid. But in communicating science, it's always very helpful. It's always helpful if we tell them the truth, so that that way they will know how to actually handle it and how to go around with with whatever knowledge that we will tell them, and then they will know how to process the information the right way, and that they will know how to what's that word for it, act upon it. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay.
Nakabigla
Yeah,
yung
thank you
sabi
so
na. Thank you
much,
so much
Angela.
for that question.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, nice answer. Next question from Kare Favillar, for Sir Cyril. Do you follow a depth ed curriculum or how does it work? Also, do you integrate students in a form of internships on startups or existing social businesses?
Yes. In terms of depth ed regulations or CHED regulations, for the tertiary, this has been approved already by CHED. We asked permission because this will be an institutional subject. So as per information, only schools with certain level of accreditation are allowed to have an institutional subject. So this one is approved already. So you're keen with that. With depth ed, our partner has created a very good program wherein we can incorporate it without destroying the whole flow of the curriculum in the basic education. So basically, it is just putting in lessons or activities within other lessons so that it becomes related or it has a theme of the SDGs. In terms of internships to current social enterprises, again, as I mentioned earlier, we already built a good relationship with some SEs and businesses here in our community. So they'll be very well they'll be very well how do you say immersed to this opportunities. And aside from that, we are also featuring some SEs that are successful in Luzon so that they'll be inspired and they'll get some motivation and encouragement on how they do things.
Okay, thank you so much. Another question from Jamil Lisa. Sir Cyril, I know I am missing, I'm just intentionally skipping the last question from Altea. From Sir Cyril, to Sir Cyril, how do design the curriculum for T, paano po yung pagtuturo ng SDG? Paisa-isa po ba in detail or in general, tapos ituturo na lang one-on-one to the students? Yeah. So the
This is what
selected goal.
happened. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Please
go
go.
ahead. And another question from Bai, kasi since ikaw na rin yung on the line. For Sir Cyril, the topics that would be discussed in T subject for tertiary, is it possible that it can be mixed to the NSTP?
Can you repeat the second question?
For the topics that will be discussed in T subject, is it possible if it can just be mixed with NSTP?
Oh, okay. Let's go to the first one. How is the subject created? So basically, we created a committee coming from different disciplines: engineering, science, business, and different disciplines. So we pitch in ideas because some of us were sent um, to specific seminars, specific trainings, and we pitch in. Basically, the very foundation of the T program is on design thinking. So that's the very structure. And we adjusted it based on the current situation in our province. Yeah, just quick example. On idea generation, we are not yet on the level of Metro Manila, wherein you just have students and have them generate ideas. So in our case, we need to have a deeper way of pulling out ideas on our students. On how we gonna teach the SDGs, basically, since it is a subject in the whole semester. So, for example, on a day, there would be focused discussions on specific SDGs. Say, for example, SDG on poverty. So we're gonna create a profile of the Philippines in terms of poverty and in our province, that so that our students will get a national and a local perspective on poverty. On the second question, wherein could the T subject be incorporated into NSTP? In our case, because we already have a permission coming from CHED, so we don't have, or we don't need to. We decided it to be a separate subject because we want our students to have a focus on it. Specifically, for us, we want it to be named as T so that the students will see the importance of technology, entrepreneurship, and environment instead of being just a subtopic of another subject. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I guess let's have our last question. Anthony, what's your question? Yes? Anthony?
Ulit-ulit. So, halimbawa, papasok ako ng 7 in the evening. Balik kung papasok ako.
Anyway, I think so for our last question, again, if you have questions, since due to the lack of time, you can just message them directly. We will also put their respective Facebook Facebook pages and Facebook accounts, and we will also post the recorded video on the online SDG Youth Action Forum community group. So last question. This is really an interesting question from Altea Cagas. So to all the speakers, but I want to specifically hear two people lang. I'll call out since how do you handle leaders who treat you as their rival? So first, I want to call Angeli, Ina, and the last si Myrus. Yeah, Angeli.
All right.
Kasi I think we already had Angela and Cyril who have been speaking kanina pa. So maybe we can hear it from Angeli, Ina, Marian, and Myrus. In that order. Sige, Angeli.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
short but sweet
Althea.
lang Short but
That really made me reflect. I had notes.
Yeah.
So I think hard leaders are really just leaders who have yet to see through our point of view. And from my experience, really leaders who feels a certain rivalry with you are just people who have not yet you have not yet talked with or discussed with often enough or more collaboratively enough. So what I would suggest when dealing with these types of leaders who are maybe a little bit offhand, a little bit suspicious or skeptical about your ideas is one, definitely do your pre-work. Even if you already feel like they see you as rival, always come with an open mind that they could be potential partners and supporters for you. So do your pre-work. Always research what are the motivations of this other leader. What will make them look good to their constituents? What are their priorities? And definitely when you start, you have to prepare your notes. You have to prepare talking points about the kinds of ideas or projects that you would like to propose to them in a way that they're framed so that it aligns with their own personal priorities, um, and that you're able to show your project as a win-win situation for you and this other leader. We have one slide that I actually skipped earlier, which is the HYLB Leadership Academy, which trains young people with leadership skills. One of the skills that we really try and imbibe with some of the youth that we are training is what we call the DAC approach. So D meaning direction, A alignment, and then C commitment. And I think these are really great when you talk to another leader in terms of setting the direction. You already have this general idea. We already know that this is a plan really to bring people together and to plan well towards a future that we all want. So that's already the direction. Alignment is just looking at the different ways that this other leader is implementing their project, and then aligning how you also can support that their own projects and their own priorities. And then commitment is really being sincere about helping out and being just showing that you're really not here to compete, but really to collaborate with this leader.
Okay.
Hopefully
Okay. Next, Ina.
helpful.
Yeah, nice. No, especially the DAC, which is direction, alignment, and commitment. Nice insights.
Salary mo.
Next
Oh.
is Ina.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you say rival, for me it's a very negative word.
Maybe competition. Maybe someone who treats you as competition na lang.
Well, I was told when I got into the development sector that whatever you do, if you stand on something you believe in, you have to make sure that there is a very, very high chance that you'll make enemies. But if you know your ground, if you work hard,
Yeah.
like what Miss Angeli said, if you work hard, if you did some research, you yourself will not treat anyone as competition. Collaboration is really, really very important, and you have to make sure that you are open to communication and to sending your message across. Because usually the problem with a lot of organizations who were termed as enemies or rivals is they think that they cannot work together or they haven't communicated well enough. So if you are open, then you will get past that stage where you get enemies along the way.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Marian, you want to say something or wala? Sige. Let's have.
Hello.
Okay, Marian.
Talaga,
Sige.
Mark, gusto mo ko mag-answer ng question.
Short lang.
So for me,
PG lang.
rival, diba? So,
Rival or competition?
competition. Sa akin kasi just continue what you do. Katulad din ng sinabi niya kanina, continue what you believe
Nawala
in.
na naman si
Kasi,
Marian.
ha? Ay, sorry.
Ay, nawala ka na naman. No, sige. Let's have, sige. Okay lang, Marian. You can just comment in the comment section. Siguro, I want to hear from Angela.
Okay. All
Sige,
right.
short lang. Very, very, very short
All right.
lang.
So if it's rival, it means you're in the same sector or something, like
Rival
you're
or
in the same
competition.
direction.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I agree with what they're saying. If you know that you're doing the right thing and you're not on purposely trying to be competitive, or you're just focus on your goal, and maybe you can offer some help to that person. Maybe there's something lacking in them that they see in you, and that they feel threatened by that. So as much possible, the big and kumbaga magpatulan, and just try to help them in a way if it's possible, and if they're still open to that, try to help them, but then still focus on
Yeah.
your goal, focus on your objectives. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Sige. Cyril, you want to say something about this question? Or do you have any competitors in that sector?
Yeah, ano lang, just a quick thing to say. Other speakers were very able to explain their side. On my end, I just want to tell even the younger ones here in the, just continue what you're doing. If there are competitors or rivals trying to push you on the other side, just go on. I mean, this is not for ourselves. This is for the community. So let's just keep doing what we are doing, and eventually we're gonna see something, regardless of people doing something onto us. That's all.
Yeah. So last but not the least, yan, siguro you can just comment your answer. But last but not the least, Myrus, yeah. What's your insight about this matter?
Okay, that's a great question, honestly, since a lot of people see me as a threat, since I am this young leader who can't do anything. But if you look at it in that perspective of a question, as a leader who sees you as a rival invalidates his or her title of being a leader. Because we're already in this youth community and we have one goal. As our competition, as the organization, is the stigma that the youth can't do anything, that the youth is incapable of doing something. In sustainability comes progression. And I think that's one of the major indicators of why our public leaders from the previous generation are the same people who are still leaders today. And that's why we're experiencing our third world country as it is today. We're invalidating our purpose as youth leaders, as youth advocates, if we're having this own mindset, whereas we have one goal. So it's really sad to think about them. But like what the other speakers have said, it's better to just rise and use those obstacles in your life, those rivals, quote unquote, to maximize your own potential as a leader and as in your organization. Yun.
Thank you so much, Myers, for that wonderful answers and really great insights, by the way, from all of the people. I just want to share something since this is the last question. And again, for those who have questions, feel free na lang to chat directly our panelists. So again, we have Cyril Mapula, we have Angeli, we have Ina, Angela, Myros, and Marian. So I just want to say something about this matter. And just to close lang before we have the picture taking and the final reminders. Na to be honest, uh, of course, rivals are normal but it's a way for us. The matter here is how we see them. Do we really see them as competitors, or we see them as something or as a method for us to improve? Because I've been reading this book. It's called The Infinite Game. Actually, I have it right now because the question was brought up. I have it right now. It's The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. For those who don't know Simon Sinek is, maybe you know him better as the one who initiated the Golden Circle, which is the why, how, what, and I think it's a really important tool being used by organization, by institutions, and even NGOs. So according to him, that in that book, that it's okay. Of course, there would be people kasi talaga who will see us as competition. But some of us, or some of them who see us as competition will is playing the finite game, or parang may ending Parang paunahan, parang race, competition, ganun. And in businesses kasi, there is no ending It always like, it's a cycle. So you need to think infinitely, and you need to play the game infinitely, not being infinite or not being in a parang competition or in a basketball game that you need to beat someone. So according to him, that we have to stop thinking of other players as competitors to be beaten, and we must start thinking of them as worthy rivals who can help us succeed and help us become better players. So again, of course, rivals are normal. According to the book, parang Apple considered a lot of people rivals. Like Steve Jobs considered Bill Gates as a rival, but it's a way for him to improve from his practices, from his measures and such. Pero he never saw Bill Gates as a competitor. He saw him as a partner, as a rival who can share insights with one another and improve one another, because that's the goal. Especially businesses pa nga yun eh. What more if we are in a development sector na our main goal is really to unite and really to collaborate with one another. So we're not in a business. We don't earn anything, or I think we must not earn anything most of the time. Our goal is to serve people and to empower people. So it's just we just need to treat people or treat rivals as not competitors but as people who can make us better person, as a motivator, kumbaga. So yun, I have a lot of things in my head, but that's the gist of it. Again, thank you so much for our wonderful panels, for really insightful Saturday. So just a few words. So again, but we still need a lot of more young people like you, like me, like Myros, like Yan and Angeli, Ina, Cyril, and yeah, and Myros to act for SDGs. So we still have, we believe that there's something in us, whether big or small, that the world can need, whether big, where they're just simply picking up your trash or joining their initiatives, joining our advocacy, or just even contributing something, kahit maliit man yan, to our world. And yeah, and hopefully we can contribute to the SDGs and contribute to the world and heal the world and make it a better place. So again, please answer the survey here. And now for the showcase and commitment. So for those who are here, especially who haven't done the showcase and commitment part, so feel free to join our official Facebook group. Please check the pin post and announcement. And then please comment down the inputs in the pin post below. So this is the pin post. We already started giving out certificates to those who have already accomplished. So feel free to just comment down. We are including also this one if you just attended for the first time. So to get a certificate. So this is the sample, and feel free to join our Facebook and Telegram groups for more updates and announcements. And our speakers will also post their presentations and their links there for your reference. So this is the certificate. And then again, if you have more questions, feel free to contact us. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So before we formally end,